How's it going, everyone? My name is Chijio Renault, and I'm here with Style Channel with a very special guest today, all the way from Berlin, currently residing in Berlin, but Australian. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Reka. Reka, how's it going?
It's good to be here. Yeah, thanks.
How does it feel to be in Milan right now?
Well, it's hot. It's a hot June right now. So, yeah, I'm trying to keep cool, you know what I mean? But, yeah, very excited to be here. As I was saying before, it's a long time coming. You know, this work is, I started this body of work in February. So 4 months of solid work. It's nice to see it finally hung, and you know, it's great to see the work in a gallery context as well. So yeah, very exciting.
Right. How privileged are you to be able to come to Milan and have a gallery give you the space to just, you know, put out your creativity and to show the public, you know, what you have to offer?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, you know, one of the reasons of moving to Berlin is being able to start exhibiting in Europe, and this is my first solo exhibition in Italy, let alone Milan. So, yeah, it's always nice to get some feedback, and I always find exhibiting in different parts of the world, the different responses as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens later tonight.
Nice. So you've been in Italy before. I'm wondering, you know, what's the first thing you have to do when you get to Italy? What's the first thing on your mind?
It's easy. Espresso, pasta, maybe Campari or a little grappa shot or something.
Nice. All right, so let's get straight into it. Tonight you have an event, your solo show called Olympus at the beautiful exhibit called Avant Garden, and tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm mainly a figurative painter, definitely very abstract, as you can see. This show Olympus is, you know, I've been looking at a lot of Greek and Roman sceneries, ancient Greek sceneries, and I'm wanting to start incorporating these decadent scenes of reclining figures and sculptures into my world. So, you know, I've been spending, you know, as I said, 4 months. There's 15 canvases, linen pieces in the show, and apart from these female forms, I've been focusing on sculptures, as I said, and also still life, which is a new direction for me. So my followers, the people who've been following my work for a while, they'll be excited to see something new in this show. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see what people think of it.
Nice. So you mentioned that you're starting getting into still lifes. I know you're a street artist, but how excited are you to kind of branch out into a new direction? Maybe are you kind of taking a break from what do you think?
You know, like most artists, like we get a little, I don't know, we want to explore, we want to expand, we want to try new things. Like I want to make mistakes, so I want to have the time to experiment, you know, word of the day for sure, and see, you know, make mistakes and see what works, what doesn't. It's a learning process for me. You know, I call my work visual problem solving, because, you know, I'm trying to solve these problems. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but yeah, in this case, you know, as I said, the still life is something new for me, and even the couple of pieces that I've done, I've got some great ideas for future works as well.
So let's talk about a little bit about different things that you do. I've done a little bit of research on you, and I came across a little documentary that I watched, and it's interesting. It was talking about how you grew up next to train stations and the railways and abandoned warehouses, and I noticed how you kind of look forward to picking up, you know, discard or like old objects and kind of just putting your own little stamp on them, or restoring life. You said something about recycling life. How big of an impact was living next to a railway station, and how important is it for you to go and do your hobby of going out to warehouses, where a lot of people think that's just another building, but you see that as like essentially like a heaven, right?
Exactly. You know, it's called urban exploring. I'm going there to find these locations to paint in, but also at the same time I'm looking for these objects or sourcing inspiration. It could be something as simple as rust or this natural texture growing on wood and these things. So, I'm looking for these objects to go away and paint on, and I find it is quite similar to my street practice. Like often I'm looking for walls and locations. I'm reading what the context has for me, whether it's a drain pipe or windows, and that often generates ideas. Something as simple as composition or something like this. So these pieces generate ideas, and I love the traditional aspect of canvas, but I find these found objects, these reclaimed objects, as you're saying, I'm bringing new life into them. I'm reinventing these objects. It provides something more special than maybe the canvas work. So yeah, I want to play. I want to try and many fingers in many pies, if you know what I mean. Like I can't stick to one thing. My attention span is like this. So, but for this show, I wanted to keep it traditional. So the emphasis is on it's on canvas for sure.
Nice. So I actually had a really random question about: do you ever have to look out for people like coming after you when you're jumping, these fences and crossing the line, or is that part of the adventure? Or?
It's an adrenaline rush, especially doing something illegal, like living on the train lines. I was out a lot. Even when I was younger, my mum didn't even know. I was like creeping out the window out to paint at night, and often it's not the police you should be worried about. It's other people out there as well. So you're a little vulnerable, but it's all exciting, and that was when I was younger, and we all grow up, and my focus is on my art now. So I am definitely not forgetting my roots and where I'm from, and I still love doing that stuff. But yeah, as I said, the focus has changed now, and I'm a gallery artist now. But also I still paint murals, but they're commissioned, they're legal. There's only a matter of times that you can actually get caught before you think, time to maybe rethink my strategy. Yeah.
Nice. So you're originally from Australia.
From Melbourne.
Okay. And you currently live in Berlin, right? So I've seen that you've been privileged to travel all around the world. You've been to San Francisco, you've been to London, you've been basically ever. A lot of metropolitan cities. What's something that you've learned from all these cities? And if you can, is there a favorite that you have? Maybe San Francisco?
Look, I do love SF for sure. It reminds me of my hometown, Melbourne. Of course, the American element is different, but similar style, similar way of life, very relaxed. A lot of Australians, we're all like surfer boys, and so we're more chill. So anywhere on the coastline, it's a different style to being inland. And the funny thing is, Berlin's the first city that I've lived away from the ocean, and it took me a while to actually work out what was missing. And I'm like, it's the beach. So I'm hoping I can get back to the beach at some stage. But look, travel. Apart from seeing new things and inspiration, you learn a lot about yourself as well, and your coping skills. Often you get put in these sticky situations. I love traveling by myself as well. So it's always an adventure, and I'm very lucky that work makes me travel, and it often takes me to parts of the world that I wouldn't necessarily choose to go, and it's always surprising that I really enjoyed it, and something that I cherish a lot, and I want to continue this as much as I can. Yeah.
Nice. Sticking to San Francisco, I want to talk about the big mural that you were pleasured. Had basically a nice experience to be able to paint a mural on the side of a college building, I understand. And
Law University in the Tenderloin, which is kind of a dodgy area in SF, but very, very colourful, very full of life, and one of the beauties of being able to paint, exterior walls is the interaction with locals and getting getting some feedback, whether it's positive or negative, but most of the time people keep their negative comments to themselves. But it's constructive criticism, so I'm happy to receive whatever. But it's very special to be able to paint in some of these locations, especially linked to either museums or universities, like what I mentioned in San Fran. So. And actually, that wall is one of the walls that I get the most traffic on. In Instagram, I get tagged in it more than most other places. So I'm very lucky to be able to paint something quite high profile in the city. And also, what I painted was a peace sign as well. So it connects with the city's history, the flower power hippies from the 60s. So yeah.
Ah, that's nice. So let's talk a little bit about your influence. I know you have a little brief history in pop art. How has that influenced you today, and do you still dab a little bit into pop art with the...
Well, I'm looking backwards for inspiration more than what I'm looking currently. So, apart from 20th century art, which is definitely my favorite, I'm looking at the Cubists. Obviously, a lot of people can see that in my work. Pop art, maybe now it's more to do with the colors, the really vibrant, juicy, bright colors that are impacting. And this comes from my street practice because the way I like to paint is something that's very powerful, very bright, and it catches your eye from a distance away. So it does translate into the gallery, and this body of work is definitely quite powerful and impacting. That I've definitely taken influence from some of the pop artists as well.
So speaking of those influence, apart from obviously the greats, are there any actually current people that you kind of catch your eye or that you follow who kind of maybe give you a little bit of competition to go out there and
There's so many good artists. Like I don't want to mention any names, but a lot of them are my friends as well. So it's so nice when you see your friends working hard, and also it's surprising sometimes to see what they do. You're like, wow, these guys are amazing. So it's not so much competition, but motivation. You see someone working hard and progressing, and it's almost like a kick up the ass for me as well to go, oh shit, time to step up. So it's good, and we kind of push each other, we poke each other, and it's a friendly competition. Let's just say that, but. Yeah, look, I'm as I said, I'm looking at a lot of different types of art, not just specifically street art or graffiti, or which is obviously the world that I'm in right now. But yeah, just a lot of conceptual art. Tomorrow I go to the Venice Biennale, so I'm looking forward to seeing different types of work, installation, media. Of course, I'm a painter, but I'm looking to expand as well, and I would love to start working in sculpture and more 3D as well.
All right, just wrap it up. If you could give us 3 words to sum up your show tonight, Olympus. Can you give us 3 words to sum it up the best way you can?
Decadent, bright, and mysterious.
Nice. So the last question. Where do you think you see yourself, or where would you like to be maybe in the next 5 years? Do you see yourself still in maybe this style of work, as far as really abstract colors and really abstract figures, or what do you think you see yourself?
I've been known for my figures for quite some time now, and looking backwards in the last couple of years, I'm noticing that it's becoming more abstract. And look, I don't know what it's going to be in 5 years, but I think it's going to be less concentration on the figure and more playing with texture and movement, abstract expressionists, this kind of thing. My work is dramatically changing, so it doesn't even need to be 5 years. It could be 1 year, and if I showed you the work I was doing last year compared to this show now, you'd be astonished to see the difference. So I like to provide something new in every show that I'm doing. I don't really want to repeat myself, so I want it to be a surprise for people, you know what I mean? And Avant Garden has been a great a great platform for me to experiment, and Manfredi, the gallerist, the curator, has been very helpful for me, and yeah, we've worked on some good ideas together, so looking forward to tonight.
All right, everyone, you heard it best. We just finished up with artist all the way from Australia, Reka, and Chi Gok with Style Channel TV. Catch you guys next time.